Okay, so in this video I'm going to give you some top tips for visiting Palma on just a day trip. Now you may well have seen my guided itinerary which I made last summer. If you haven't, I'll pin it right at the end of this video. I'll pop a link to it in the description text below this video, but I'm here in Palma city centre and I thought I'd just give you a little bit more information to help you plan your trip. Now we're going to start this video over at the bus station, which is probably where you're going to come in. If you're travelling in from across the island, you're probably going to arrive in at the bus station either on the red and yellow TIB buses or the blue and green EMT buses, or even if you're staying in the villa in the centre of the island, you might be coming in on the train too. Now, getting into Palma is super easy. All transport services lead into Palma and there are regular services throughout the day as well. They start early in the morning. Last buses or trains normally leave at around 11:30 at night as well, so you can spend a really good day here in the city centre. Check out my full guide that I have on my website on Mallorca Under the Sun about getting around Mallorca. I'll drop a link to that in the description text below this video. Check out my video guide as well to using the TIB buses. I have to say it's a lot cheaper if you use your bank card to tap onto the bus, and then you have to tap off the bus as well when you get off. You can also use the same bank card as well if you're travelling with more than one person and up to 5 people too. If you're using the blue and green EMT buses, then take cash with you, but check out those guides too for timetables as well if you're looking to travel into the island. Okay, so we're going to take a walk down now through Palma Old Town because I've got some more information for you if you're travelling here by car. So if you are visiting Palma Old Town by car, do not be daunted about driving into a town. Driving into any foreign European city may seem daunting, but here it's actually relatively easy because the main road which wraps its way around the city centre, around Palma Old Town, is called Avenidas, and I'm going to just show you here on Google Maps and I'll drop a link to it below as well. If you're coming in from the west side of Palma, stick to the far left-hand lane as you're coming in as well. You'll pick up the parking signs, the underground car parks, and you can just drop down into any of those underground parking spots into the city centre as well. I do recommend coming to park up on Plaza España because that way you can then follow my recommended walking itinerary as well from that point. But any of these car parks will bring you into the city centre, and then, well, you can just come out and explore. If you're coming in from the east side of Palma, you're going to maybe want to stick to the right hand side. We're going to see a parking sign as well coming up. You can park underground here. There's also parking in the Corte Inglés department store as well. You'll see the signs for parking, but if you're coming anywhere into Palma around the city centre, you're going to see the parking sign, so it's very, very easy to park too. However, I do have to say that these car parks, these underground car parks, are quite expensive, particularly if you're planning to spend the whole day here. And my recommendation is, if you are going to spend the day here, or you maybe just want to spend a couple of hours and you're travelling on the budget, maybe just park on the other side of Avenida, so on the newer side of Palma. And parking here is incredibly easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it because I've just parked across the road here, so I'm going to show you how the parking machines work. Okay, so anywhere where you see these blue markings on the road here, this is the Aura zone. It's the paid for parking, and if you do park here, then you're going to have to go to a machine and go and get yourself a ticket, which is what we're going to go and do now. Okay, so let's see how to go about paying for parking over here in Palma. Okay, so the first thing is that you can actually select the language that you want the parking meter to display, and so we're going to select English here for the sake of this video. You also then want to pay for Zone 2, and then you want to use, maybe, I'm going to use my credit card, my bank card. You then have to put in your license number plate here, so I'll just do that. And then you can select how much time you want to pay for the parking. Now the maximum is for €2.30, but I'm probably going to be in Palma until maybe, let's put for 1 o'clock, maximum amount reached. And you can like increase or decrease it by increments of 5 cents as well, so that you can take away 5 cents or add on to, and you just press OK. and then you just tap your card. You then have the option as well to get a receipt, which you can, let's just get a receipt. And then you take out your ticket here and display it in your car windscreen, and that is it. Super easy. You've also got the option as well to use coins as well if you prefer. And you also use this machine as well. If you do overstay your welcome here, look, you can cancel your fine. You can say you're going to pay by card. You pop in your, same thing, you pop in your registration number and it'll say how much you actually need to pay as well if you have overstayed your welcome too. So super easy to use. So my next piece of advice is, if you're coming shopping in Palma Old Town, is to just be aware that you're going to see shops closing at around 2 p.m. and then they'll reopen at 5 o'clock. But this is the small local shops. The big department stores and the big chain shops will stay open pretty much all day. But my advice is the best time to come in is first thing in the morning, so for around 10 a.m. Come in a little bit earlier to make the most of a cooler start to the day, and maybe you're going to have some breakfast in one of the cafes. But yeah, you're going to find a lot of shops closing at around 2:30. You're also going to find the period between 2:30 and 4:30 to be free on the other side of Avenidas for parking as well. So just bear that in mind as well. You can actually park for free over there, which is another really good top tip, because this is officially siesta time. So if you are looking at just coming into Palma and you want to check out the department stores, or you want to check out the chain shops as well, then that may be a good time to come in. After that, you're going to find the smaller shops opening again around 4:30, 5 o'clock. So again, another good time to come in is later on in the afternoon or in the evening as well, because shops stay open here until about 9 or 10 p.m, depending which shops they are. So you can really just come in here for the evening, go shopping, enjoy the sights when it's a little bit cooler in the high summer, go for some dinner, go for some drinks, soak up the atmosphere as well. So you're going to get a really different experience in the evenings. I'm just going to make the point too, and I'm going to drop a link to a video right at the end of this one about pickpockets in Palma, and I'm filming this video very carefully as well as I'm walking around the old town here. But just bear in mind too that of course Palma's the location for pickpocketing. I've got a video all about it, so make sure you check out that video before you travel into town. Okay, so my next tip is about things to do if you're over here in Palma for the day. My absolute top tip is, if you are travelling here just for the day and you want to go and see the sights, is get a ticket aboard the city sightseeing bus. I'll drop a link to that in the description text below as well. It'll take you around all the key sites. You can hop off, hop back on again anytime you like throughout the course of whether it's 1 day or 2 days, but for however long you buy that ticket as well, it'll take you around all the key sites too. Now, if you follow my walking itinerary as well, that's going to take you around the key sites in Palma Old Town too. But I do really encourage you to dive off the side streets as well and come and check out some of these smaller boutique shops that you're going to find lying down the alleyways and down in little hidden streets as well, if you want a real taste of Palma. You're also going to find some great little cafes as well that aren't tourist traps, where locals go to as well. Maybe I'll make some content about that in the future, so consider subscribing if you haven't done so already to catch those videos. I actually lived in Palma for the first 4 to 5 years during the almost 20 years that I've been living here now, so I know the city really well, and I know some really good places to go to as well, particularly if you're coming back in the future and you want to explore some other areas too. So consider subscribing to the channel and catch those videos. But my recommendation is, to get a really good experience of the city, don't just stick to the main tourist route. Explore a little bit more as well, and I can guarantee you won't really get lost, because at some point you're going to end up back on the main square, and it's super easy to find your way back to the bus station too. So my next top tip if you're visiting Palma, and I have been asked about this quite a few times in comments, is about where you can go to the loo. Now obviously, if you're going to a cafe or going to a restaurant, you can use the loos in the cafe or restaurant, but if you're caught short in between those restaurant trips, well, where can you go? So my number one recommendation, well, let's go and head there now. But I have to say, not only is this a great place to go if you're caught short, it's also a great place to go if you need to cool off too. So I'm standing outside one of the 2 Corte Inglés department stores in Palma.
Both department stores have loos on the very top floor, which you can use if you're visiting the city. Now, I'm in the larger of the two department stores, and this one is on Avenida Alessandre Rosselló. So taking the escalator to the top floor, turn left and then turn right and just keep going straight, follow the signs and you'll find the loos.
Okay, so I have a few top tips as well for you if you want to stay cool this summer in Palma. Now, don't forget there are free drinking fountains dotted around the city centre. You can see what they look like here. The water is perfectly safe to drink. Just take your reusable water bottle with you and just fill it up as you go along around the city. But if the heat of the city does prove too much for you and you don't want to use the buses, well, grab a taxi. You can get a taxi back out of the city or get a taxi into the city. If you're leaving the city, just go to the taxi ranks as well. They're also dotted around every few hundred yards around the city centre. I must just make this warning, you're going to find quite a queue at night to get those taxis as well, so it might be preferential to book your return journey. Or don't forget, now you can also call an Uber too, so that's also really good to know. The Uber service here runs a little bit differently than in most countries, in that you can only use registered Uber taxis, and you can see what they look like as well just in this video clip here. They're actually marked Uber, they're not just people's own vehicles. Okay everyone, I hope this information has proved useful for you if you are coming over to Palma, whether it's for a day trip or for maybe a longer stay this summer to help you get around. Check out this guided tour here, this self-guided tour, if it's your first time in Palma and you just want to check out the key sites. Don't forget to check the link below as well for my link to my affiliate link for the Palma City Sightseeing bus as well, and you can also help support the channel if you get a ticket there at no extra cost too. Okay everyone, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to be back in Palma quite frequently over the winter months. I've got lots more videos to make from over here too, so consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Find me in the Facebook group and on my Instagram, also called Mallorca Under the Sun, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Goodbye for now.